Hello everybody. So we looked at how to retrieve data and we're not firing any queries. But what if we want to perform queries, simple queries or whatever they call it here. So you can also provide queries, do queries. So let's look a little bit here. And basically it's just by providing a query, you just indicate the reference and then where field, and then you provide is equal to and something like that, or whatever the methods that are there. And then to execute the query, we do db collection where field and then get documents after that. Perfect. So then we are going to do that right now. So let's have a look at the example we had. We were working with nodes and exploring how to use codable and non-codable and all of that interesting stuff. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take to remove this from here, right? And then let's see, so db.collection, and I want nodes. And under nodes, I would like to where, and here it is, where the field. And you can see here, these are the queries that you have. You know, you don't have that many options, by the way. You know, you have where field is in, and that's basically for an array. Additional filter where contains fields. Well, it is mainly an array, not in. So there is in and not in. Is equal to, is less than, our array contains, is greater than, not equal to, array contains any, and so on. So basically I would like to be is equal to. All right, let's do that. And let's have a look at the data that we are getting in. Let's say I want where the user ID is equal to, let's go back to the data that we had here, and this is the user ID, and I want it to be equal to this user ID. So basically I would like to get it to be equal to where the user ID is equal to this, right? And now when you do this, we do get documents with completion handler, and everything is the same. But instead of a document snapshot, you are getting a query snapshot. You see that if you did it, let me comment out this. If you did it like this, db.collection nodes, and then you do here get documents with completion handler, you're also getting a query snapshot. Okay, so we're getting a query snapshot. That's perfect. But you see anyway, so we're getting a query snapshot. Fine. So here it is. We go here, we click enter. Well, again, snapshot, and error, same thing, and error. Here it's exactly the same. And then we can just copy this code from here to here. Here it is, Control C and Control V. Perfect. I'll put the breakpoint here. We run it. And what we're doing is that we're just looking at nodes to see what nodes have been returned. Click on read data, and it's not working. So this is snapshot where UID equals to this. Oh, it's not called user ID, by the way, because that field is called created by UID, right? So copy that. It's not UID. That field doesn't exist, right? So we go back here. It is not UID. It's created by UID. So if you look at this, these are the fields created at UI by UID, document ID, message, right? Here it is. We run it again, and now equals will work. So if we go here, read data, and it stopped. Good. And we're good. You see here, these are the UIDs. Now let's say, for example, you want anyone which just says Namaste. The text is Namaste. So I'm going to copy value. I want to copy this. Go here. So basically, so you could see that I'm able to query. So let's say I would like to get anything where the message is Namaste. So here is, instead of this is the value, and this is the message is Namaste. Let's run this again. Okay. And then it is running. We click on get read data, and you see here now the list has only one item where the name is Namaste. So you are able to do equals and so on. I don't think you can do compound queries, meaning that this and something else. So if you do, then it requires you to create an index. So let's have a look and see. So we're able to execute the query, very straightforward. We did something similar to the where field equals something, right? And it can be Boolean, and these are the operators, less than, equal to, array contains, not in, and so on. And then let's have a look. So not equal, and then here they are talking about the limitations, which is very important. Note that not equal queries. Limitations for not equal. Only documents where a given field exists can match the query. You cannot combine not equal, not in, and not equal in a compound query, and so on. Right? So they are in compound queries. Then they are talking here about compound queries. So you can have compound queries, but there are limitations that you need to take care of. So not in and so on. These are all to figure out if there's in that country. It seems this is an array of strings. You could say in these, or this one is in, right? And it tells you that the operator can combine up to 30 equalities clauses. Perfect. So this is all the kind of queries that they have. So these are the compound queries. The only compound queries that you can have are ands, right? The OR queries are a little bit different, and these are very new, these OR queries that they added. So basically you can add ands and ORs, but they will create indices. They need you to create indices. So when you do something like this, and like this means that you are combining. You want something that state is Colorado and the name is Denver. And in that case, it's going to create a compound query. So you can perform that, no problems. What is not valid is that range queries. You cannot have these greater than, with, and equal. So I think as you play with these queries, you will figure out what is possible and what's not possible. So you can write queries now, and you can have or queries, but you have to look at what are the limitations. Perfect. So now let's say this query for UID or the creator is very interesting, because what happens is that if you want to find all the nodes that are created by a specific person, you can write a query and just specify who that person is. I know all the queries, all the documents that we have here are created by one person, but let's log out. Okay, I will log out. So let me run back the app. I will log out. I create another user, and then that other user will create some documents, and then we can distinguish between them. Log out. Here it is. And then what I'm going to do is let's create a new user. Here's another user, b@b.com, Bob Smith, b@b.com, test 1 2 3, and click on submit. So now I have Bob. Now I store some sample data. These are the data that were created by Bob. You can read, and this is, let me put a breakpoint so you could see what the data by Bob is, and we read, and boom, it will show you only Namaste. So it seems also that because we are filtering by Namaste, we are not filtering by user ID. So now let's say I would like to get only the documents for the currently logged in user. So here it is. See, there are more documents now. Every time you click, it creates only one. So let me create more. Store sample date 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I added 8 items. Now when I refresh, probably the code is still stuck, so the app is not running. Go back and let me show you okay, here it is. Store sample and store and store and store and store and store. So I think these are 6. You see they are being added. The user ID is different. See, if you look at authentication, Bob as an OH at the beginning. Go back here and you can see that some of them have OH at the beginning. This is the user ID for Bob. So now what if we want to rewrite this query such that I would like to get by created there. So basically where created at is, and then the ID is auth.current user .uid. So basically I'm just telling it that I only want the nodes that are owned or were created by this user. Okay, so now let's run this. And it's going to get you whatever the logged in user is. So basically based on the logged in user, we get the user ID, and from there we go. So here we are, and it should show you the ones that were created by, and these are 6 items. These are all have the same user ID, which has OH at the beginning. Okay, so that's one other way of doing business. You can write queries to filter by user ID. You can write queries to greater than, less than, simple query. We'll start with simple queries, and then we'll go more and more sophisticated as we go. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.